I'm actually here at a very, very special school called Kisharon, which is our school here for special needs. And we have a bar mitzvah, and the young man actually just had an aliyah. And just very, very special to actually be here. We actually have a grandson who comes here. And as well as being tonight is the Yotzat. So we're going to be doing Le'ilun Nishmas, our share today, for Menucha Bas Baruch. That's Andy Tanz's beautiful Menuchi, who was nifta 27 years ago. And as we know, she was a very special neshama who was born with Down syndrome. And I just thought, like, here I am standing in this school, Menuchi's Yotzat tonight, Chanochi's Bar Mitzvah, all the beautiful special neshamas, that we should just really be zoicha to greet Mashiach soon. And Hashem just puts us in these places all at the, at the right times for everybody. And very, very, very special. I want to also take the opportunity to wish you many happy years of Torah imbuing those beautiful walls in your new home, in Yerushalayim, in Hanof, and just continue. And I can see the difference in the walls behind you. So we will have to get used to your new home, because that is also where we learn from. And Be'ezras Hashem, you should only have simcha, mazel, bracha, and only good things.
Amen, 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 amen. So yeah, I'm welcoming you in. First of all, I forget, you haven't seen me in a long time. You should know that all of a sudden you popped into my head. I said, where's Ginny been? I don't know why, I just thought of you. So I'm glad to see you first on. Good. Yes, thank you, Hashem. Hodel Hashem, ki tov, ki le'olam chaso. I moved into my new home on Tuesday. What you see in back of you is slightly clean, but the rest of the house is, what it's like when you move in. So I won't give you a tour yet, but Be'ezras Hashem, I'm welcoming you to my house on Brand 6. That's my new address, Rochel Brand 6. You're more than welcome to come and visit. Just let me know, give me a heads up first. Marcel's going to come. I hope you're going to come this trip. I actually might have to be in Beit Shemesh on Sunday morning to pay a shiva call. If I can get a ride, if I can get easy. So be in touch with me, okay? And anybody else who's in Beit Shemesh, one of our chaver who one of the chaver from here who comes on this year, the Thursday shiur, so she lost her father. Okay, so yeah, I moved and I can't find my makeup. Hence, I just found a little bit of lipstick. I threw on something. Baruch Hashem, I just bless you all that you should all find and buy and move into your home in Eretz Yisrael. I'm so grateful to Hashem that I was able to stay here in Har Nof, and I have Hashem, as you all know, Hashem sends everyone the angels that they need. So you actually, ladies, I know you're going to think it's funny that I'm saying this, but you're all right now angels, because if I didn't have to give a share to you right now, I'd still be unpacking, and I really shouldn't, I really should take a break and learn something. So thank you for coming to the class. Thank you for learning Tehillim with us. I missed you over the summer, but I was so busy that I didn't have time to think. But every Thursday, people would text me from the other groups that come onto the shiur. It's Thursday, 12 o'clock, where are you? So here's Yehuda is one of them that just came in from Beit Shemesh. So Baruch Hashem, we're back. And Baruch Hashem, we're back. Yehuda, you have to teach me how to do that. I see that's the latest. The newest latest. See how she's doing her mitpachat? This is the newest, all the young girls. Now they have all this stuff that's hanging all over the place. Yeah, I don't know how to do it yet. She'll have to teach us all how to make that new style. I try to do it and it just falls apart. So you have to show me. Okay. It's good to see everybody. Baruch Hashem, there's so many of you that I'm going to wait to say hello till the very end of the shiur so that I can get everybody in. We're going to learn today, we're going to do something that I love doing, and that is making a shidduch shiluv, a connection between the Litvish world and the Chassidish world. Because we're going to learn today, according to the Vilna Gaon, the parak of Tehillim for Rosh Hashanah. Now, I know we learned last year, and I'm sure all of you have heard shiurim on chapter 27, L'David Hashem Ori V'Yishi, which is what we add every single day in the morning and the afternoon prayers. But I bet you didn't know that there's a special, according to Gra, according to Vilna Gaon. Now, I'm Chassidish, and the Vilna Gaon is the super Litvish, and I love making those combinations and showing that it's all one. It's just different paths to come to Hashem. So the Vilna Gaon says that the special Tehillim that we're supposed to say on Rosh Hashanah, both days Rosh Hashanah, as if you didn't have enough davening to say, right? As if there wasn't enough davening. There's extra. He says, say Tehillim, pay Aleph, 81. So grab a Tehillim and open up to chapter 81. Some of the psukim you will recognize because we actually say them on Rosh Hashanah as a congregation. One of the things about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur that's so unusual is that generally any Ashkenazi could manage in a Sephardi shul, and any Sephardi could manage in an Ashkenazi shul. And even if you're Ashkenazi or Sephardi, you can manage, if you pay attention carefully, in a shul of Eidot HaMizrach, the Sephardim. Sephardi is Hasidish, Ashkenazi is Litvish, and Eidot HaMizrach, Ayin Mem. If you ever look at a siddur, sometimes it has an Ayin Mem for the abbreviation Eidot HaMizrach. It means the Sephardim, means the Persians, the Iraqis, the Moroccans, the Syrians, the Yemenites, etc. So if you listen carefully, you can see it's the same. It's just a little bit of a different pronunciation, but it's just, you can manage. Except Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah, I don't know, is anybody here Sephardiya, and goes to daven in a Sephardiya shul, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? It's a whole different davening because the beginning until Shemona Esrei is all the same. Maybe the tunes are different, but it's the same words. Then with the repetition of the Shemona Esrei, where the Ashkenazim add in all of the songs, B'chol Maminim, and Hader V'Amuna, and all the poems, Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Hashem Yimloch, all of the poems that we add in, Unatana Tokef, the main, right, that we cry a lot at Unatana Tokef, the Sephardim don't add that in. They have a whole different repeating of the Shemona Esrei. And they don't sing all the songs, and it's a much shorter davening. The songs that they sing are beautiful, as you know. Now you can listen every night when it's 12 o'clock Israel time, that means 10 o'clock UK. You can go on Kotel Live, KOTEL.com, COM, or live, LIV, and you can see the slichos by the kotel, and you hear, because it's all singing. And all the years, I was always jealous of Sephardim. I love the slichos, the Spanish slichos. They're uplifting, they're beautiful, they're gut-wrenching. And they sing everything, and they say everything together. There's no like what we do, and try to catch up to the chazan. So anyway, it's hard for an Ashkenazi or a Sephardi to go, for anyone other than Sephardim to go to a Sephardi shul. And by the way, one of my students told me that she once went, she's Sephardiya, and she once went Rosh Hashanah to an regular Ashkenazi, non-Sephardi shul, and she said she started crying, like, what is this? You're not singing our songs, you're not saying the right things. She was terribly upset. Until we finally figured out here in Eretz Yisrael with the seminary girls, anybody who's Sephardi has to go to a Sephardi shul. We have to find a Sephardi shul for them because they can't handle the way that we do davening. Okay, so we're going to learn now Pei Aleph, that the Vilna Gaon says this is the Rosh Hashanah, special for Rosh Hashanah. Now, why is this? So the Mefarshim on it's not just the Vilna Gaon says, he just points out that the Medrash says that this day on Rosh Hashanah, in the Beis HaMikdash, they used to sing this on Rosh Hashanah. I don't know if they sang it repetitively over and over again, or if they sang it just once, like it was like the focus of the day. But the reason that in the Beis HaMikdash, and they only was, I think in the Beis HaMikdash, sometimes they was one day Rosh Hashanah. In the Beis HaMikdash, the Gemara says, and the Medrash says, they sang this song, Pei Aleph. And because on Rosh Hashanah, 6 months before Yetzias Mitzrayim, 6 months before Pesach, is when every Jew in Egypt was literally left alone. The Egyptians were so obsessed with saving themselves because their whole country was falling apart from the plagues, that when the first plague of Dam began, so there's an opinion that says that each plague took 1 month. For the whole plague, from the beginning from the warning and the plague itself and the ending. So according to one opinion, the plagues began Nisan, a year before the Jewish people left. But remember that Dam and Sfardeya, the Egyptian magicians, were able to duplicate. So they didn't free the Jews, it didn't free all of them. Some of them were freed then, but there was some obstinate, stubborn, evil Egyptians that when the plague of Dam happened, they didn't free their Jews. And when the plague of Sfardeya happened, they didn't free their Jews. So there was one opinion says that a full year, and one opinion says that, but everybody says that from Rosh Hashanah until Pesach, no Jews were enslaved, and on Rosh Hashanah itself, everyone felt emancipated. So that's why they sang this particular parak of Tehillim on Rosh Hashanah in the Beis HaMikdash, and that's why the Vilna Gaon points it out and says to us, sing it on Rosh Hashanah. And because of that, our rabbis incorporated some of the psukim in this parak. We say in the Shemona Esrei, in the Musaf Shemona Esrei. Okay, let's start to learn. Lamanatseach al hagitis la'asaf. You should know that for every one of these introductory psukim, there's mounds and mounds of commentaries. See, in this new house, I have part of my library right next to my teaching table. So I can just sit up and get a sefer. Sometimes I say to you, I have a sefer, it's on the other side of the room. Now I can keep this one right next to me. So Asaph, everyone knows that Asaph was one of the Leviim. And we know that Tehillim was written by many different people. David HaMelech gets credit for writing the whole Tehillim, and he put it all together. But he compiled it from other sources also. Okay. The Ramak says, the Moshe Cordovero. So the Ramak wrote a book called Tomer Devorah. I'm sure you're learning it in some of your classes before Rosh Hashanah. Because I'm packing because I was unpacking, so I found my Tomer Devorah, I put it on the side to learn. Tomer Devorah by the Ramak is basically the most remarkable book of Kabbalah because it's written in such easy terms. And it talks about how the different sefirot, what they are. So the Ramak, who was living in the time of the Ariya Kadosh, before him a little bit, so he said that this parak of Tehillim sweetens judgments. And since on Rosh Hashanah there's a concept of judgment, so he says sweetens the judgments. And he says that there's a special instrument called, so Lamanatseach. Lamanatseach, we all know, is the midah of Netzach. Netzach means I want to somehow overpower God. Now, what does that mean? So the Gemara says about the word Lamanaseach, we learned this a long time ago, that Hashem says, I want you to daven to me, and I want you to daven in such a way that you overpower whatever decree I had decreed previously to you. Now you're going to daven, and I'm going to abolish that decree. Hashem wants us, so to speak, to be victorious over him. Hashem wants us to be. It's like when you're teaching your children a game, right? Did you ever teach children chess? So the first time you teach children chess, they have to learn all the moves. The first couple of games, you make sure that you win because you want to show them how to play chess. And then at a certain point, you let them win, right? Because otherwise, if you keep winning, they're never going to play with you. So you have to let the kids win. It's like that with everything. When you're teaching, sometimes you have to acknowledge a question of a student and really make a big deal about it, even if it's a regular question, even if it's not such a crazy, amazing, great question, but you want to encourage your students. And so you're going to acknowledge, you're going to make a big deal. Whatever it is, your kids come home from school with a picture, you make a big deal about it. So that's cool. The children feel that they sort of like, they got the better of you. They got a compliment from you. They got you to respond to them. That's cool. And Hashem wants us to do that. So Hashem sometimes sends us messengers and he says to us, you did such a good mitzvah. I'm so proud of you. And so Hashem says that because he wants to pass on the back so that we can continue to do mitzvahs. That's called Lamanaseh. It's the mid of Netzach. That whenever you're feeling that you're not living in peace, if you have problems with Shalom Bayis. So Shalom Bayis problems, if it's that you feel that you always have to be be right, and you always have to criticize and be critical and all of that. If that's your problem, then you have to read a lot of Lamanaseh Tehillim, because Lamanaseh helps you with your own midah of Netzach, that we're not supposed to be so combative with people in our life. Okay, that's a very general statement, and of course there are certain people who you have to be a little bit forceful with. But if you have, let's say you have an issue where you're always right, you know people like that. You always have to be right. So those kind of people, if you're one of them, and I'm usually one of them, so you have to read a lot of Lamanaseh to balance your midah of Netzach, that you shouldn't always be trying to be victorious over everyone in your life. Let them be right once in a while. Okay, now there's a gittis. A gittis, all of the Rashi generally translates a gittis as a musical instrument. That's what, if there's a word in the beginning, in the introduction, in the introductory verse, pasuk of Tehillim, that we don't know, Rashi just goes with, it's a musical instrument. Here he says it was manufactured in the town of Gat, Kiryat Gat. Have any of you ever been to the beach? Right, we have Kiryat Gat here in Israel. Kiryat Gat is there's a lot of Ger Chassidim who live there. There's some Russians who live there. There's probably a lot of Chabad there. Okay, that's a gittis. So here he says that because the word Gat, Gimel Tav, also is a place, it's a musical instrument, but it also means a place where they make wine. It's like a big giant barrel, and they put the grapes into the big giant container, and they squish the grapes and they let them ferment there. That's called a gat. And we know that that yayin, wine, in Kabbalistically represents two things. First of all, it represents din, judgment, because it's red, and all things that are red represent judgment. It also represents Kabbalah, all the secrets of the Torah. So here's a secret Tehillim. And Asaph was a person, he was a Levi, but the commentaries say that he was a person who gathered in, like the word Yosef, he gathered in all the blessings and put it into this parak of Tehillim. Now, Asaph wrote several Tehillims, the next one also so whenever you have a parak of Tehillim that's authored by or ascribed to Asaph, so think to yourself that all of a collection, a combination of all the different possible blessings and possible requests is somehow in this parak of Tehillim, Osefet HaKol, this parak of Tehillim represents the Jewish people who receive all the blessings in the world, represents Malchus, represents gathering in. Okay, here's where it says, Harninu lelokim useinu, hariu lelokei Yaakov. Harninu is from the word Rina. That's my name. My name is Rochel Rina. Rina means to sing joyously to Hashem in prayer. It's a big word. It's a big meaning. It's a good name. All of the names, Ronen, Renana, there's a few other names with Rina, Ran, Ron. Anyway, it means to sing out to God, who is our Uzeinu. Hashem is our strength, Oz. In Kabbalah, we're taught that the Jewish people fundamentally own Tiferet and Oz. Tiferet means beauty and Oz means strength. But the fact that we're in exile all of these years depleted us of our Tiferet, our beauty, and our Oz, our strength. But here we're saying, Hashem, you are the source of our strength. And since we are still loyal to Hashem, after all these years, almost 2,000 years. Oh, 1 second, I have to put my machine on. Wait, don't go anywhere. I have to charge this. Wait. My iPad tells me that it's going to run out of juice in a second. And I have a plug right near me. Okay, I hope. Let's see. Are you still there? Everybody still there? Okay, listen. If for some reason my battery dies on this iPad, because I have it plugged in now, but somehow Zoom takes a lot of battery. If my battery dies and I disappear for a second, don't fret, I'll go back to you on my phone. So just take a breather, go make a cup of tea. I'll be back. I hope it won't die. Have to charge it overnight. It probably will, actually. So I'll give you a little break, and then I'll come back. Okay. So Harninu le'elokim uzeinu, sing out to Hashem, to God, who is the source of our strength. And now it sounds the same word, but it's a different meaning altogether. Hariu means blow the shofar, like tru'ah, hariu, tru'ah, blow the shofar to the le'elokei Yaakov, to the God of Yaakov Avinu, of our grandfather Yaakov. Blow out the shofar to Yaakov. So here you see a hint to Rosh Hashanah. Hariu means to call out, and call out like a shofar calls out. Now, everybody knows that every day in Elul they blow a shofar. And if you don't hear the shofar where you live, you can go on, it's probably early in the morning for you, but you probably could go on also the kotel.com, and they're blowing shofars all day long because there's people minyanim there all day long. So that's what Hariyu means, call out, so sing to Hashem, sing to Hashem. Now, what are you talking about? This is, supposed to do this on Rosh Hashanah, singing to Hashem on Rosh Hashanah. So people are so frightened. The people going to Rosh Hashanah, they're tittering, they're worried, they're nervous. They want to, then here we're taught, and this is what they're saying in the Beis HaMikdash. Be happy on Rosh Hashanah. And listen to what the next pasuk says. Su'u zimra, sing, zmiros, lift up, zmiros. In other words, sing happily zmiros. And utnu tof, and play a drum. Now, in the Beis HaMikdash, you know that on Shabbos and Yantiv, they played instruments. Because the Beis HaMikdash was a different, in the Beis HaMikdash, there were a different set of rules for Shabbos. So, Tnu Tov, now we don't, of course, in our houses or in our shuls, we don't play instruments, but sound the drum. Kinor, a harp. Kinor Na'im, a beautiful harp. Now we say a kinor is a violin. Im Navel, and a flute. So, in other words, what are we on Rosh Hashanah doing? We're singing to Hashem. We're singing to Hashem joyously. Why? So as we know, we're all sharing a lot of the teachings of the Yanuka, Reb Shlomo Yehuda Be'eri. And so the Yanuka explains that Rosh Hashanah for a Jew is amazing day. It's an awesome day. He says, because we're entering into, figuratively, the palace of the king, and we're being acknowledged by Hashem on Rosh Hashanah, and that's a tremendous privilege. Sometimes, if you're really careful about paying attention, now it's hard, everybody has a different sensitivity, but sometimes on Rosh Hashanah, now we have 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, sometimes you can feel a moment, it happens in shul, a moment in shul where you feel different. You feel something. You don't even know what it is. Generally, what that feeling is that at that moment is when your soul was brought up in front of Hashem and given its judgment for the upcoming year. Sometimes you feel that several times in Rosh Hashanah because we have spurts of spiritual energy on Rosh Hashanah. Spurts, and sometimes you feel it a few times. But if you feel like out of nowhere, all of a sudden, whoa, what is that? That's probably your second. And so just say, Hashem, I love you, I'm yours, I'm going to do your will no matter what. Just maximize that second. Tell Hashem, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna work for you. I'm re-enlisting in your army. Because on Rosh Hashanah, the Yanuka says, how do you get the best judgment is if you say, Hashem, instead of asking for particular needs in your life, you say, Hashem, what I would like to do is volunteer my life in your service. Now, Hashem is so good to us because when we volunteer our life in the service of Hashem, it does not mean like the Goyim got mixed up. The Christians got mixed up. They thought it means you can't get married, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you have to be ascetic. No. Hashem says, good, get married, have lots of kids, enjoy life, just serve me with the Torah, mitzvahs of the Torah. So when we on Rosh Hashanah say, I am committed to serving God. God is my king. God is the only king. And I am a loyal servant in the kingdom. And I'm also a daughter in the kingdom. And I'm a princess in the kingdom. When we focus on that, and we get 2 full days to try to focus on that thought. The Yanuka says it's guaranteed that Hashem will give you everything that you need because now you're working for him. So a worker has to be supplied with all the things that they need. So now, each person, each one of us has to see, what can I do this year that's unique to my circumstances? Let's say, for example, if you have a beautiful home, and if you have help in the house, and you have the means, so make your home open to shiur, and once a week, once a month, commit to that. Give Hashem a gift based on your life circumstances. What are you a mother of a lot of kids? Then Hashem, my job is I work for you. I take care of these kids. That's my job. And if you're a bubby, then be the best bubby you could be. Whatever your circumstances are, not everybody has to be, a Kohen, a Levi. With lots of Yisraels around. And Yisrael, how do we re-enlist in God's army? We say, well, this is my life circumstances, Hashem. This is where I'm up to. This is what you've given me. This is the blessing you've given me. I have this, I have that. I don't have this, I don't have that. Whatever it is, and I'm going to use it in service of God. So you have a beautiful house now, like I have a beautiful house. You're all welcome to come. I'm making, whenever I do a Zoom share, I'm inviting anyone to come. Yesterday I had, Baruch Hashem, a few people in my house for the Zoom share. You look at my calendar. There's a Zoom share. You're welcome to come. My house is open to you for a share. And so, and whatever it is, whatever your life circumstances are, if you have to work, let's say you're a 9-to-5 working lady, then perhaps your circumstances are that you have to be the good babysitter for yourself, meaning you have to take care of yourself, you have to feed yourself, and you have to make sure that you get enough rest, right? There's a funny joke that they say that a guy was walking in his religious neighborhood, and he sees a woman with 5 kids, and she's struggling. She's pushing a baby carriage. She has 2 kids in a stroller, And one kid is holding on to her, and another kid is holding on to her on the other side, and the other kid is like walking in front. And she's struggling with packages and everything like that. And he runs over to help her. And he does his big mitzvah of the day. And he comes and he helps her into the taxi and whatever. And he feels so good. He did such a big chesed. He helps this lady with the 5 kids and her struggling with packages. And then he comes home and it sits on the couch, and his own wife with her 5 kids, help, can you help me with the kid? Can you help me wash the dishes? Can you change the baby? Can you hold it? And he's like, wait, I just come home from work. No, his 5 kids are his chesed opportunity. So all of us have a chesed opportunity to take care of ourselves also. Just because you're taking care of yourself and your husband and your kids and your parents and whoever it is, your friends, whatever your life circumstances are, say to Hashem, this, I'm doing it for your sake, for you, Hashem. I'm doing it for you. I'm not doing it because I think, I'm doing it because you say I should. That's called a guarantee that the upcoming year, you'll have the tools that you need to proceed with the job that you've chosen or that you're in terms of relationships to Hashem. And that's cool. That's what Rosh Hashanah is. I want to recommit to my commitment to Hashem. I'm going to serve Hashem. And I'm going to do it very happily. So, Zimra, so I'm going to do it with singing and dancing and playing musical instruments. You know how wonderful it is if you play an instrument and you sing and dance with your kids? It's such a great thing. So of course you're busy, but then take out your guitar, sit down by the piano, whatever you have, and just make your house full of music. Or if you don't have that, open YouTube and download all the holy music of the Jewish people. We have so much holy music on, of all places, YouTube. See how Hashem made a joke on the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara made up YouTube, and he thinks, I'm going to ensnare everyone. They're going to be watching movies and maybe inappropriate things, chas v'shalom. And what did the Yetzer, so what did we do? We said, okay, Yetzer Hara, you're going to do it, but we're going to put all this holy stuff on YouTube. So you can listen to all the holy music of all the holy people. Put it on, or well, I don't know, you could even buy music on, I don't know how to do stuff. I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. But whatever it is, fill up, if you don't play music, fill up your house with music. And here's a pasuk specifically about Rosh Hashanah. Tiku b'chodesh shofar. We say this in the Rosh Hashanah davening. Below on Rosh Chodesh, which Rosh Hashanah, as you know, is Rosh Chodesh, first day of the month. Blow the shofar on the Rosh Hashanah, which is here Rosh Chodesh, but it's referring to Rosh Hashanah. But Kesed, at this hidden time, Liyom Chagenu, that's our feast, that's our Chag, it's our Yontif. A Kesed means it's a kisui. Like, you know, we say kisui rosh, you're covering, right? Covering. So a covering of the hair, a covering of the head. So Kesed means a day that's hidden. Because Rosh Hashanah is this remarkable day. We really, really prepare so much for it. And we spend a lot of time davening on Rosh Hashanah. But most of the experiences of Rosh Hashanah are hidden from us. We don't know what's going on in Shemayim. And that's good that we don't know, because we probably would get a little bit frightened. Maybe. But Hashem says there's nothing to be frightened about. It's true, you're walking into a courtroom, but when you look at the judge, you see his daddy, Papa, Abba, you're happy. You know that sometimes you have, when I was in elementary school, my teacher, I went to co-ed from grade 1 until grade 8, I was in a mixed girls and boys yeshiva. That's the only elementary school that was nearby. And in my class, for like 5th grade, was my teacher's son. And he was the most mischievous kid in the whole class. But I had this new teacher, she came from Israel, and her son was in, so he got away with everything, because she just couldn't discipline him, because it's her son. Some kids, if it's the son, or the daughter, so the teacher's stricter if it's their own child. But my teacher, and I remember thinking like, that's so not fair. He's doing all these mischievous things and he gets away with it. That's how we are in the courtroom of Hashem. We get away with a lot. Why? Because Hashem is our Father and He's the judge at the same exact time. That's what that's why we are actually rejoicing. That's why it's called a Chag. Rosh Hashanah is called a Chag. Now, you would be, it's surprising, a little bit surprising, that there's so much positivity regarding Rosh Hashanah. So you'll see that Hashem is going to make a few demands on us as the parak continues. Mishpat, okay, so in the beginning, it's very good. Sing to Hashem, be happy, rejoice. Everyone says, everyone quotes the Gemara. The Gemara quote says that if a person has a court case, they're nervous. I don't know if any of you are lawyers or married to lawyers or have children who are lawyers. Attorneys, lawyers are like dentists in that people don't really like them, but they need them. But they prefer not to have them in their life. And certainly people would prefer not to go to court. But the interesting thing, and when people have, let's say, a court, people are being sued, lower lane or whatever, then they lose their appetite because there's so much nervous energy that they just can't eat. They can't eat. And what do we do on Rosh Hashanah? As soon as Rosh Hashanah comes in, we come home from shul, we have sweet fruits, all kinds of simanim, apples, honey, dates, everything sweet. That's on Rosh Hashanah at night, and on Rosh Hashanah, you're not supposed to eat anything chamutz, sour or bitter. Everything has to be sweet. That's unusual for a person going into judgment. That's okay, because Hashem is the judge. And therefore, ki chok l'Yisrael hu. This is a chok. A chok, we know, means a mitzvah that we don't understand the ramifications of it or the meaning of it, the purpose of it. That's called a chok. But here, it refers to the fact that we don't really understand Rosh Hashanah. It's a chok, it's a mystery to us. How could it be that at the same time, we're so worried about the judgment, and we're down, and we're listening to the shofar, and we're in awe of the shofar, and we're in awe of the whole surroundings and the proceedings? How could that be? And at the same time, which is the way judgment is, at the same time, we're supposed to be filling with joy and happiness and pride and gratitude that we're Jews. So how do we resolve these two opposite emotions? That's called a chok. It means it's true. We just don't know how to understand it. So because we don't know how to understand it, we just accept it. Chok l'Yisrael. This is a law. But it's not called a mishpat. In the first part of the pasuk doesn't say mishpat. The first part of the pasuk says chok. It's a type of a situation where a human being can't fathom the depth of what goes on Rosh Hashanah. It's a chok. And now the second part of the pasuk says mishpat le'elokei Yaakov. It's the day of judgment for Hashem, the God of our grandfather, Yaakov Avinu. So on one hand, it's a chok because it has both of those emotions, fear and love, and that's also the day of Mishpat. Now, interestingly, you all know the sirot of Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, right? Chesed means an outpouring of love. Gevurah means an outpouring of judgment. And Tiferes is a perfect balance. Interestingly enough, one of the code words, Tiferes, is Mishpat. Again, Mishpat means judgment. So here, even though Mishpat looks scary, but really it's not. Okay, I see that my iPad is just about to collapse. So I'm going to go on my phone Okay, so 1 second. Okay, let's see. Do this. Okay, so there I am. And now I'm gonna turn this off. 1 second. Sorry. Better, right? Okay. Better for me because my iPad is no longer gonna die. Can you hear me? Let me see. I can't see you now. Let's see. Can somebody text me if you can hear me?
We can hear you.
Good, thank you. Okay,
Yes,
great.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Good. Okay, can you see me? Not that you need to see me, but can you?
Yeah, we can see you too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Now you get an expanded version of my room. One of the bookcases. Here, I'll show you a little bit what's going on here. Yeah, you see? A little bit of the mess. A little bit. You come and see in person. Oh, 1 second. 1 second. Just a second. Okay, now we're back, yeah? Okay. Okay, okay, Yaakov. So this is we're talking about mishpat. So justice is a perfect balance between din and chesed. That's why it's always associated with Yaakov Avinu. So these are thoughts now. It's okay, Galaxy, whoever that is. Thank you, Mazel Tov also. And now what we're going to do is mention Yosef Hatzadik. This is an interesting thing because you know that Yosef Hatzadik was in the Sefirot, right? So we have Avraham Avinu represents Chesed, Yitzchak Avinu represents Gevurah, Yaakov Avinu represents Tiferes, and then we skip. Moshe Rabbeinu represents Netzach, and Aaron HaKohen represents Hod, and then Yosef Hatzadik represents Yesod, and David HaMelech represents Malchus. So which of the two tribes are included in the Sfiros is Yosef Hatzadik and Yehuda, because David HaMelech is from Yehuda. And so here we're going to associate Yaakov Avinu and Yosef. Edut BeYosef Samo. Here, Yosef Hatzadik's name is written with a Hey. So it's called Yehosef. Yehosef. That was considered the expansion of Yosef Hatzadik. He gets an extra Hey. And David HaMelech in Divrei Hayamim, David HaMelech's name is written with a Yud. It's written Daled Vav, Yud Daled. And here Yosef Hatzadik gets a Hey, David HaMelech gets a Yud, together Yud K, right? Hashem's name. So this is a Edus. Edus means when you're testifying, when you're a witness. Edus would be Yehosef Samo. Hashem put into the, now, who is Yehosef here? It represents the Jewish people. Just like Yaakov Avinu represents the Jewish people. And even though we say Elokei Yaakov, it's the God of Yaakov, I forgot to say, so I'll say it now. Whenever Yaakov Avinu is mentioned, it means also not just our grandfather, but us, because we're called Beis Yaakov, Bnei Yisrael, right? We're called Bnei Yisrael. That's one way of referring to the Jewish people. And Beis Yaakov, the house of Yaakov, that's the second way of referring to the Jewish people. So he's not just talking about Yaakov Avinu, it's also talking about the Jewish people. So here, this is what Hashem decided. Samo means he put, he established. What did Hashem establish? He established as if Hashem is a witness to his love for the Jewish people. So, and that's what Rosh Hashanah is. It's Hashem telling us, I want you to succeed in this world. I want you to get every blessing in the world. I want you to have everything in the world. That's called Rosh Hashanah. But I see, says Hashem, sometimes it happens that if you get blessings that you're not ready for, or blessings that don't fit in to your part of life, then those blessings backfire. And so that's what Rosh Hashanah is. Hashem is deciding, how can I maximize your life for the upcoming year based on your previous history, based on what you're committing to now for the upcoming year, based on the kind of blessings that will be advantageous to you as opposed to disadvantageous. Hashem takes it all into consideration, and then he makes his outline for each of us. So remember that the Yanuka says, in order to be matzliach, in order to make sure that your Rosh Hashanah is successful, tell Hashem, plan now, plan in Elul. And of course, since Hashem is, Elul, Chazal tell us, in Chassidus we're taught, that the king is in the field. Baal Shem HaKadosh used to say it, and in Chabad they talk about it a lot. And Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, and Sukkot is very celebratory. It's very, a lot of ceremonial stuff. Like you people in UK are used to that, right? It's like when you visit the Queen in one of her state dinners, she's wearing all of her stuff, like her diamonds and her jewels, and everybody has to wear a certain kind of clothing, and everybody has to stand in a pre-given place, and not everybody is invited. That's when the Queen is giving a state dinner. But when she's on vacation in one of her places, and you happen to meet her going on one of her, I don't know, horses or walks or whatever, and she's wearing a kerchief, I've seen her in a dress down. She'll wear a kerchief and galoshes, boots, and looks like the real age, a plaid pleated skirt, a nice good jacket, She looks like an old lady when she's in her, without having the hair and makeup people do what they do. So when she's in her and you meet her in the park, you can talk to her. So I read a funny joke, because it's the UK. When I read this joke, I said, I'm going to somehow incorporate this into a shir. I read a funny joke. It wasn't a joke. It was an actual, somebody wrote that this happened to them. That they went to a certain park or a certain, I don't know, palace, gardens, whatever. And they saw an old lady, and the old lady looked like the Queen. So they went over to her and they said to her, you really look like the Queen. And it was the Queen, but she wanted to joke with this person. So she said, well, listen, because she had a bodyguard with her. She said, well, I might look like the Queen, but this guy, he works for her and he's seen her. Because she was talking about her own bodyguard who was standing right there. And her bodyguard started laughing, because he saw that the Queen was making joke with this guy, with these people, whatever. And he said, this probably an American or whatever, said, really, you work for the Queen? What's she like? You really saw the Queen? He started asking all kinds of questions. And then he told the Queen, he says, could you take a picture of me with this guy? Because I want to have a picture with him. He works for the Queen. So the Queen took his phone and took a picture of him with the guard. Okay? And then afterwards, I don't know what they told the guy or they didn't tell the guy, but they told that story. That's called lahavdil, infinite havdalas, from something that's very, very, my feelings are about your government, and to something that's lahavdil, infinite havdalas, sublime. It's like that with Hashem. That's what Chazal say. Hashem is in the field. He's taking a walk. He's easily accessible. In Elul, it's much easier to talk to Hashem personally. His throat is having a conversation, singing to him, and also planning what gift are you going to give to the king on Rosh Hashanah. You want the king to give you a gift of life. What gift are you bringing to the king? You're going to the palace. What gift are you going to bring? And what gift could that be? That could be a decision, a suggestion, a commitment. What am I going to do for Hashem and for the Jewish people and for the proliferation of Torah in this upcoming year? I want to make a pledge. What will I do this year so that I can serve the Creator? And really, you're not supposed to say something for yourself, but you're supposed to say, and this will ensure me a portion of life or the whole year, the upcoming year, because I plan to use the year wisely. That's called the preparation of Elul. That's called the king is in the field. And it could be the same exact thing that you pledged last year. Our circumstances don't change that much. If you're a mother of a lot of kids, this year you have to pledge to take care of those kids, to feed them, to clothe them. What happens if you were a single girl and you worked in an orphanage and someone says to you, what do you do? You say you work in an orphanage. What do you do there? I feed the kids. I talk to every one of those kids. I make sure they brush their teeth. I make sure they shower. I make sure that they're okay in school. Every one of those kids, yeah. How many kids do you work with? I have 5 or 6 kids. Sorry, phone. I have a bunch of kids that I'm assigned to, and that's my job. So, do you get paid for that job? No, I don't. That's crazy. What do you mean you don't get paid for that job? I don't get paid for it. I volunteer. I do it out of the goodness of my heart. You take care of 5 kids, you feed them, you clothe them, yeah. Okay, that's what a mother does. So if that's your circumstances, and this year, it's those same 5 kids, you're going to have to feed and clothe, etc. That's what you're pledging to Hashem on Rosh Hashanah. And again, if you want to upgrade your pledge, right? Whenever you give charity, they always call you the next year, and they say to you, Mrs. So-and-so, thank you so much for your pledge from last year of whatever you gave. Would you like to announce? Of course, yes, I'll contribute the same amount. And then they say, thank you so much. Maybe you would like to upgrade a little bit, cost of living increases, whatever. So if you want, you can upgrade your pledge to God. You don't have to, but if you want to. This year I'll try harder with Shmiyas HaLashon. I'll learn the 2 halachas a day of Shmiyas HaLashon. I'm sure you're all doing that already. Whatever it is that's a little bit, that's in your life, that's possible for you to do, try to do. That's called Kichok Edus Behosef Samo. Hashem put a testimony on the Jewish people that we are righteous. That's what the testimony that Hashem put on us. What's the Edus? What is he testifying? What's he the witness of? That we are righteous. Because what did he do? Hashem went out and observed the whole Egypt. And what did he see in Egypt? He saw that we were righteous and everybody else in Egypt were immoral. And in Egypt, we know that they spoke Egyptian. We did not speak Egyptian. We chose to hold on to our Lashon Kodesh. So Hashem says, I'm going to be now the witness. In Pirkei Avos it says, Hashem is the judge, Hashem is the witness, Hashem is the jury, Hashem is the one who carries out the judgments. Hashem is everything. Which is good for us. So on one hand, if your father is the judge in the courtroom, you still have to give your father cover. In the courtroom, every judge, whether he's your father, whether he's your brother, whether he's your son, in those cases, they recluse themselves, right? They withdraw from the case because they're related. So you're not allowed to be the judge in a case where you're related. But let's just say if that happens, then you still have to give the judge the utmost respect. On the other hand, you wink and you say, hi, don't forget about me. So, okay, that's the beginning of this Perek Pei Aleph. And as you know, this year we're coming to Perek Pei Gimel. The year that we're coming to is all the years of the Pei, right? Pei, and then Pei Aleph. This year was Pei Beis. Next year, B'Shah Tovah, Habalin L'Tovah, Pei Gimel. It's all the decade of the Peh, because it's the 5780, right? That's the decade that we're in, it's the 80s in Hebrew. 5780, we're entering into 83, Bezrat Hashem. And so it's all about the mouth. Davening, using the mouth to daven, using the mouth to speak words of encouragement. Thanking, look at what Rebbetzin Rochel was saying, such a beautiful thing that she has about mitzvah today. And it was exactly a yard site of a person who was affiliated with that type of a school. And look at how everything works out, the hashgacha works out. Yesterday, one day, I'll tell you, when you come over to visit me, remind me, I'll tell you, it's a long story. What a hashgacha practice I had. So, and now Rebbetzin Rochel also had a hashgacha practice today. And so one of the ways that we can feel Hashem's love in these days of Elul and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Sukkot is pay attention to the synchronicity of your life, to the hashgacha process, to the amazing miracles that happen. You just happen to be here. You just happen to find this. I'll just tell you, I'll tell you quickly, I'm looking for a medrash for 30 years, a source of a certain statement. Sorry, this because they keep calling me. I'm looking for a source of a certain thing for 30 years. I'm looking for. In a book that I haven't seen the reason I haven't seen is because it's not mine, it's my son's. And it's exactly the source for this week's parasha. In this week's aliyah, on the day that I moved. Whatever it is, hashgacha process, look for the hashgacha in your life. You'll see Hashem is hugging you. And I'm also giving you a hug, sending you a hug, welcoming you. I can't now say hi to everybody, or maybe I can. Hi, Mrs. Morris, and hi, Dvorah Dansker, and hi, Dahlia, and hi, Ginny, and hi, Janice, and hi, Joanne again, and hi, Golda Juliet, and hi, Marcel. Oh, you're disappearing. And hi, Michal, and hi, Paula, and hi, Pauline, and hi, Rachel Randolph, and hi, Steve Manchester, that's Sippy, and hi, Sharon Abram, and Shoshana Biliak from RBS, and Shoshana Kaplan, and Shalamas, and Sarala. I saw you, I was watching you, Sarala. Thank you for putting your face on. And hi, Terry, and hi, Yehudis from RBS, and hi, Dvorah Danziger again. Okay, I think I said hi to everybody that's on my phone right now. I can't see you because I'm on my phone. Sorry. I don't know how to do it. Oh, wait, I could do it. Oh, I could.
Hi, Rebbetzin.
Who just said that?
It's Jenny Weingarten.
Jenny Weingarten.
Well, Jenny Edelman.
Oh my gosh, look at you.
Hello, Rebbetzin.
Hi, it's
Stop
so
by
good
to say hi.
Wow, so good to
got a
see you.
surprise visitor whilst I was listening to the shir. She came over.
Oh, that's so great. Look, it's to my advantage. I got to see the two RBS people. Wow. Oh, now I can see Shalamis and Paul and Nomi. Oh, now I got, somehow you passed onto my screen again. Okay, I got to run. Sorry that I can't say schmooze, but I
just want to say thank you very much from the hall here of a very special bar mitzvah. So thank you very much. And Be'ezras Hashem, I'll catch up later. We'll have it all recorded and looking forward, Be'ezras Hashem, to next week. And thank you. It's wonderful to have you back.
Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you.